White mages have advanced version of the shield spell, Darren says. They are a lot more cost effective. I'm not weak against enchanted weapons specifically, I'm vulnerable against all types of physical damage. Remember that time when the captain from the ogre fort hit me with a club and threw me into a wall? I've tried many kinds of protection spells against physical damage, but none of them seem to work on me. The only one that kind of works is the shield spell, but it's barely even working against regular weapons, let alone enchanted ones. Enchanting my armor to be as durable as possible was the only way I found to give me some measure of protection against these types of attack. Huh, Hadrick says, that's odd. You suppose it could have something to do with the spirit from the magical plane that Araka said you are linked with? Like maybe the spirit is allergic to earth matter or something. Barry, what do you think? I'd say that's certainly a possibility. I'd be more inclined to think that he linked himself to the spirit incorrectly. I don't think it's related. Probably just got born this way. Do you suppose there's anything to do with the spirit from the magical plane? I mean, they all have their own... No, that's not possible, right? Because he has his own... The spirit has his own talent, and then the physical body also has its own talent. Which was the case with Flower and Iruna, whatever her name was, I kind of forgot. Yeah, certainly... that's not really a possibility now to think about it. Probably just born this way. Yeah, that's probably more possible. I don't think it's related. It's probably just got born this way because his physical body is just weaker, I suppose. I don't think it's related. He's probably just got born this way. Yeah, Darren says, I'm all for pinning the blame on some vague, non-corporeal entity that I've never met before. But realistically speaking, Barry's probably right. I've already accustomed myself long ago to the idea I won't ever be able to cast decent protection against physical damage. So it doesn't really bother me as much as it used to anymore. The armor of yours is probably better than a shield spell in most cases anyway, I say. Probably doesn't eat away your energy, and you don't need to worry about it conflicting with all your other... Hold on. Did you just imply earlier that you are actually using a shield spell right now? Well, yeah, Darren says, the only protection spell I've got that offers me some measure of defense against physical attacks. I'd be a fool not to use it. Now, why didn't you write it on this paper? I say, didn't I tell you to write all the protection spells that you've cast on yourself on our second day of this tournament without exceptions? Already told you on our first that I was using a shield spell, Darren says. Besides, what does it matter? What does the shield spell have to do with conflicts between other protection spells? It has everything to do with them, I say. What the hell, man? Haven't you read any of the books in the Advanced Theory of Magic series written by Azarius? Hey, Darren says, some of us didn't spend entirety of lives nerding it up in libraries. Everything I've learned about magic, I've learned from my teachers. In that case, your teachers are all a bunch of idiots, I say. You take that back, Darren says. My white magic teacher was an ex-sage. Do you have any idea how it is to become a sage when you only specialize in white magic without any sort of combat training? Not hard enough, apparently, I tell him. Gods be damned, Darren says. You have no respect at all for the work it takes to... What's going on here? Kate asks us as her and Layla slowly approaching us with some shopping bags in their hands. What are you arguing about again? But is refusing to acknowledge the effort that is required to... Darren starts to say, but I interrupt him. Never mind that, I say. Darren, can you tell me which kind of shield spell you're using exactly? Is the newer one that gives an advantage against physical attacks? But Darren says, oh, yeah, that's the one. What's Barry doing? Kate asks the others when she sees me flipping my notebook pages like crazy. He says he's found out how Aiden managed to put Darren to sleep despite his protection, Hardrick says. Apparently it's called Protection Overload, and now he's trying to find the two protection spells that are conflictive with each other. Protection Overload, Kate says. That does sound like something Darren would do. I found it, I say. The sleep protection from Darren's shield spell has an almost identical aura flow to one of his individual sleep protection spells. Look at these two diagrams. I then show them my notebook, flipping the pages between the two diagrams, so they can see the resemblance. Are you sure that that's not just because you suck at drawing? Darren says. If your ugly handwriting is anything to go by, I'm not sure how much I would trust your ability to accurately copy a diagram from a book. I frown at Darren. Well, why don't we have a test then, I say. Does anyone here have any sleep spells? I know a sleep spell, Iluna says. It takes a while to cast and I need to touch him while I do it, but it should be more than enough for what we need. Perfect, I say. Here are the diagrams. You need to make sure to time your sleep spell just right and to aim it at the exact point where the two aura flows intersect. Yes, I know how it works, Iluna says as she takes one quick look at the diagram. Then she heads towards Darren. Oh, this should be good, Darren says. Once Iluna reaches Darren, she places her palm on she places the palm of her hand on his right arm. She then closes her eyes and tries to visualize the flow of auras. See, Darren says, about 5 seconds of waiting for Luna to cast a spell. I told you that you're wasting your time by. Does not get to finish what he was about to say because his eyes suddenly roll to the back of his head and he falls to the ground like a log. That settles it, Eluna says. The oaf was using conflicting protection spells. Well, what do you know? Hardrick says. Barry was right. I think someone should wake Darren up, though. That does not look like a comfortable position to be sleeping in. Allow me, Luna says. He then conjures a bucket's worth of water about Darren's head, which he immediately drops on his face. The bucket or the water? Oh, bucket's worth. It wasn't actually a bucket. Okay. What the? Darren says as he quickly gets up from the ground and then he coughs some water out of his lungs. How did that end up in his lungs? I thought it was like face down. How did I end up on the ground? Take a wild guess. Kate says. No, Darren says. It can't be. Well, Darren, I say, I guess this means that you will now officially be losing your last bit of protection against physical damage. Welcome to the club. No, Darren says. I'm not letting go of the shield. I've worked too hard to learn it. I'd rather give up the other protection spells than stop using the shield. Suit yourself, I say. The sleep protection from your shield is a little weaker than the individual one, though. I don't care, Darren says. Well, as long as you make sure that there are no more conflicts, I say. I pause for a few seconds. So I guess that now I am the only one left without proper protection against sleep spells, then I say. Well, technically, I don't have any magical protection against them either, Hardrick says. Giants are naturally immune to sleep spells. Lasethi are also immune to sleep spells, Kate says. They are? I say, what about half Lasethi? No idea, Kate says. Maybe you're only half immune. Half immune, I say? How would that even work? Hey, Luna, could you try putting me to sleep too? So we can see what happens. You should probably sit down on the ground so that you don't fall like a log. Luna sighs. She approaches me, touching my arm with her right hand, just like she did with Darren. A few seconds later, I feel a strong dizziness and everything around me is starting to get blurry. Damn it, I say, as I feel the world spinning around me. I may as well be put to sleep for all the difference this would make in a fight. I can't even tell up from down anymore. What's happening right now? Am I still standing up? Nah, Hardrick says, you're sitting with your arse on the ground while grabbing your head with both of your hands. All of a sudden, I feel my mind become clear again. As I raise my head, I see Luna standing in front of me with her hand on her forehead. Why is she face palming? What did you do? Ask her. I cast a spell to cure your dizziness, Luna says as she takes a hand off my forehead. I also have a protection from dizziness spell that I can cast on you if you want. Given your partial immunity to sleep spells, protection from dizziness should help you both against sleep spells and against spells that attempt to disorient you. There is also a downside, however. While you have this cast spell on yourself, you will be a lot more vulnerable to suggestion magic, since the clarity of your thoughts will make it easier for someone to magically insert ideas into your brain. If I cast the protection spell now on you, it should last you for a few weeks, but there would be no problem in recasting it every day or so to be safe. Yeah, the suggestion might be bad. Though I myself am remotely controlling Barry, so I should be able to tell that what's his idea, what's not his idea. But that also does sound problematic. Alright, then go ahead and cast the spell, or I'll pass. I don't really like the idea of being vulnerable against suggestion magic. I think I'll pass. I'll pass. I don't really like the idea of being vulnerable against suggestion magic. Suit yourself, Iluna says. It's too bad that we don't have anyone in our team who could cast these types of spells without any drawbacks, I say, as I get up from the ground. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have been more specific. It's too bad that we don't have anyone who could cast these spells without drawback on anyone but himself. You know, kind of like what every other white mage in existence is capable of doing. Give me a break, Darren says. I already told you. Learning the version of the spell that can only be cast on myself was easier. I was never planning to work in a team during my travel, so it seemed like a waste of time to learn more advanced version of the spell if I'd never get the chance to use them. The barrier that I can cast on my shield has always been more than enough to protect civilians from harm during monster attack. It's not like I can just make a few adjustments and change the spell. I already know, so that they can be cast on other people. I'd have to learn entirely different spell for this to work, and we got no time for that. Just let it go already. I'm just saying, I say, if you had actually decided to specialize in only one type of magic, like everyone else, instead of going for both enchantment and white magic, this wouldn't have been a problem. Drop it, Darren says. Fine, I say. I guess we're all done here then. Should we get moving? By the way, I was wondering, should I actually do that? I was thinking, like, when I finish this book, it's really big, so I don't really want to go back to the one where I was like, what was that girl's name? Rose. I don't really want to go back to the save that I made that was like Rose is like our partner or whatever. I'll try, maybe I'll do that in the background. I probably won't show it, but I'll try and see what are the differences in this chapter. There are very rare occurrence of Rose, so I don't know if it's really going to change much just because we are no longer lovers with Rose all that much. But yeah, this game would probably have us go through various women. All the women in this chapter, in this show, will be like, you will eventually have a chance to be with them, and you will have to like pick and choose. Like in that playthrough I chose Rose, so I'm guessing we will not get the chance in that playthrough, but we will get the chance in this one, and blah blah blah.